Hello YouTube family. So this is the follow-up video on my human circuit series. In this video, I'll be providing additional information on how my human circuit project provided yet more practical use that anyone can implement using an Arduino to keep their workstation from fire danger when it comes to soldering irons being left plugged in. So welcome to Fabrication Fridays, where we chat and... So if you missed my short on this very topic, I bring it to you now. This idea necessitated from the ever so prevalent thought of, did I unplug the soldering iron when I left? Oh my god! So glad I didn't burn the house down!
I left on for 7 days straight.
Out of sight, out of mind, away from my view. So, I shifted my thought process on something I already created in another project. Check it out.
As you can tell, it's like completely cold. Now, I made these wire rings. This is the cool part. So I can slip it on one of my fingers, and slip the other ring on, and it automatically works. When I'm soldering, it's always going to be on my finger, causing this to heat up. It's always going to be on. So there's no way I can leave my workstation without actually having to take the wire ring off my pinky finger. It is heating up.
Yeah, there we go. Check that out. Undo the wire ring and it'll turn off. So do you like this idea? I'd love to know. So if you like what you just saw, I invite you to keep watching. Let's do it. For those of you that were following my human circuit tutorial, I've decided to actually put this, this is the one that we actually built, but because I already built one for our escape room, this one was just more for an educational purpose. And so basically I decided to put this actually into good use, okay? So I'm going to turn this into a switch for my actual soldering iron, okay? Because this doesn't have a switch. I know that they do make some that do actually have switches, but mine doesn't, so I'm going to turn this human circuit into an actual touch switch. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to actually, got a piece of wire here, and I'm going to go ahead and just split this down the middle, the zip wire. And what this is going to be actually become is actually a light indicator. It's going to be telling me that the actual soldering iron is on. Now, I have these little LED indicators on both of these units here, the relay and the Arduino, telling me that, but I chose to actually add the 12 volt LEDs because it is brighter and it's a better lighting notification for me to let me know that it's going to be on. Yeah, I just thought that might be the better idea. Alrighty, so I'm going to fast forward it here. So right here, I'm just kind of just showing you that I'm removing it from the 5 volt regulator and I'm just actually putting it, or actually soldering it onto the 5 volt regulator, the positive and the negative sides, and I'm just adding that to give the LED power. So the lights go on, and if my calculations are correct, if I touch these two, the light will go off. If I can get my fingers in there, there we go. So if we jump it, if we actually jump it, the light should stay off now. Try to get my hands in there. Yeah, so it turns on. Okay, so we jumped it, now it turns on. I just have to put the wires, the copper plates in there. So once it does go on, like that, the soldering iron will actually stay on. And it's just flickering now because there's no delay on there. That's just how I set it up. So when I just touch it, it'll stay on every time I use the soldering iron. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I have a tendency of actually keeping the soldering iron plugged in on accident. And so obviously that's a fire hazard. I have a little cat around. So this is more or less a fail-safe. Touch the sensors and have it stay on, and if I accidentally walk away, it's going to automatically shut off, just like that. I thought making a human circuit would come in handy because it just does away with the actual like on-off switch that I have to turn on and off and not worry about turning it off, because that's the main point of this. I thought this might be a good idea to actually incorporate this human circuit into an actual practical purpose. Okay, so yeah, let's keep moving on. Behold, the Human Circuit Plus Edition. If you guys have been watching my video on the Human Circuit, this is basically what we put together, except I added a little bit more to it. So basically I forgot to unplug my soldering iron, which is this bad boy right here. This bad boy I left on for 7 days straight. You know, out of sight, out of mind, away from view. Had no idea it was plugged in until finally I needed to use it, and I burnt my finger pulling it out. And lo and behold, it was left on for 7 days. Oh my gosh. So believe it or not, I actually used to have an extension cord sound box that I actually made, which I'll probably post on the screen, about a year ago. And I would actually plug in all my dangerous stuff into that because it had a on-off switch. When I turned it on, it had LED lights that flashed up all nice and crazy and pretty, and also had an annoying buzzard sound that would sound off every 15 no, actually I think it was every minute. I made it intentionally annoying so that I would turn it on, do my soldering, and just be done with it as quick as possible. But I have since done away with that and came up with this grandiose idea here. Let me go ahead and just kind of talk you through this a little bit. So basically, I replaced the 5-volt relay module, and which you see in front of you right here, and I actually replaced it with the 12-volt relay module, which you see right here. This relay hooked into the 12-volt LED right here, indicating that once it's actually active, these light up here. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. What I also wanted to mention was this top relay. It's on a dual relay module. This top relay actually goes to the 12-volt LED strip that is actually hooked directly into the 12 volts, getting the 12 volts to this LED strip. And the bottom one right here is hooked into the soldering iron's hot wire. Okay, once the wires touch, it actually turns on both of these dual relay modules, turning on the LED indicator light and the bottom soldering iron to give it power to heat up. This is purely made out of necessity because this thing, whenever you leave the house and this is like plugged in, it's just a scary thought. And I'll just demonstrate. So as you can tell, it's like completely cold. It's a little bit warm to the touch because I actually used it a little bit ago, finish up this project. So if you've been following my human circuit videos, you'll know that the contacts, which is basically this contact here and this contact right here, if we close the human circuit, it'll cause 5 volts to drop, actually execute the relays to turn either off or on. Now, in this particular case, it is off. I put the jumpers to normally open. So once these two contacts are made, it'll turn on. Now, as you know, if you touch these two together, which I'll demonstrate, the two wires together, it just turns on, and then it'll turn off in just a moment here. I'll just give it just a second. I like it nice and bright because that's a good indication that it's on. And as you know, like if you touch one side, it doesn't work. Okay? And if you touch the other side without the other side being touched, like that, it doesn't work. You touch them together, it works. Okay? Now, I made these wire rings because this is the cool part. So I could slip it on one of my fingers like this and slip the other ring on, and it automatically works. Now I made it long enough so that, you know, when I'm soldering, it's always going to be on my finger, causing the human circuit to be normally closed and causing this to actually heat up. So whenever it's on my hand like this, it's always going to be on. Okay, so there's no way I can leave my workstation without actually having to take the wire ring off my pinky finger. So it's like a wire ring switch using human circuits. So I'm going to go ahead and let this warm up and show you that it is on. And I'll probably fast forward this and it should be hot enough to actually, yeah, there we go, check that out. Sweetness. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in the cradle. And as you can tell, if we like say I'm done and I need to leave my desk, all I have to do is just undo the wire ring and separate. I'm going to separate this and put this over on the side so they don't touch, and it'll turn off. Okay, so as you can see, it turns off. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for it to turn off because it needs to go back to its normal threshold and raise up back up to 5 volts. And because in the Arduino code, I think it was 4.78 threshold. So if it goes below that, it'll fire off the relay to work. In this case, it'll turn on the relay, causing power from the socket into the soldering iron. Okay, so that's kind of cool, you know. Just made these cool little wire rings. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So now it's cooling down, and I can like leave my desk and not worry about this being a fire danger. So pretty sweet, huh?